Hi Cancer, welcome to your end of June 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Well, the sun is finally going into Cancer, and boy, what a powerhouse, huh? I mean, I'm sure you're aware of the solstice that's coming up on the 20th, and then that is followed, and for some people it'll probably be the 21st. But then it's followed by the solar eclipse at 0 degrees of your sign just a few hours later. So if I get the Fool card, we will know that it's just kind of doing a double take, or whatever you want to call it, kind of underscoring the power in this. And what else? Was there anything else I want to say? Boy, you're sure getting a lot of swords. Is this a Libra again? Another Libra. Okay. Happy birthday to those of you who are born in June. And happy solar return in general to all Cancers, or Cancerians, I guess you call it. So the heart of the matter is the Seven of Swords. This is a card of somebody who may be kind of keeping their own counsel, which what I feel like that means is strategizing on your own. So if you are making plans, you're not necessarily broadcasting them to anyone, because you may have found that when you do that, even with people who are generally on your side, that it doesn't really end well, or it doesn't seem to make things better. This card can also deal with getting out of a sticky situation in a very clever kind of a way. So an example would be, you discover your boss is a narcissist and impossible, and yet you know that narcissists and impossible people tend to be vindictive, and you don't want to be punished for leaving. So you figure out a way to kind of sail off into the sunset without him or her being the wiser. And this can apply to a relationship with with a similar type of individual that you have to kind of handle with kid gloves. The other possibility is that somebody is on the down low with you, cheating, stealing. This is actually a card that can connect with physical theft. So you may have noticed that something is missing, and I never played the game Clue in my life, but when I was a kid, there were a lot of people who did. And they would have, who's doing what, and it's like a mystery and stuff. I should play that, one of these days. But it might be the person you least expect, let me put it that way. In the past position, we have the Four of Cups. And this is a card of being offered love, but not being that impressed. Or on the other end, you're the one. I don't think that the querent, whatever you want to call the person that the reading is for, is ever the cloud. So I think that's being done to you. And there's like this sense of dissatisfaction there. So an example would be, if you suspect that a partner's cheating, and maybe you can tell that their behavior has changed, if you are honest with yourself, you probably were dissatisfied with this person before all of this change in behavior even occurred. So you can look at it as kind of a blessing in a sense, because it's something that gives you an out, and you don't have to get caught up in the drama of it, because since there's going to be a solar eclipse in your sign on the 21st, that will impact the well, it's not actually, it won't, because it's a it's a new moon, so it's not opposing the sun. It's actually in conjunction with the sun, the moon, the new moon, or the solar eclipse. But you do have, there is something that is coming up in July that's going to be in your relationship house in Capricorn. You're going to have a lunar eclipse there in your opposite sign. And that may be when everything comes to a head, when you realize it. Some people may feel it though in June. So, maybe this is kind of like talking about, this reading might be for some people, the Capricorn eclipse manifesting early. I don't know. But in any case, I would just say, do self-inquiry and see if it's really as heartbreaking as you might think you should feel. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's like kind of par for the course because you're not really satisfied in the relationship anyhow, and that this is kind of like the cause and effect of what happens when you're not really into somebody. They end up cheating, and you end up not caring, and you end up going your separate ways. The worst thing that can happen is all of a sudden wanting somebody because somebody else is with them. That's kind of the ignorant way of doing things. So don't fall into that trap. The higher message is the Queen of Swords. Keeping your feelings at bay, being logical, and making a decision based on that. Not making a decision based on your emotions, kind of what I just said. And even being grateful if it's like somebody is taking this person off your hands, so you don't have to be the bad guy in a sense. You can say, well, I know that you're cheating, so you might as well just go to them, and you can feel more a sense of detachment and not even rejection, because you kind of rejected them first. That's my feeling, is that you rejected them first, even if you stayed with that person. What crosses you is the Devil card. This is connected to Capricorn, so maybe it's that timing card, is that this is when it all goes down. I need to plug in my thing again. And this is going to be, I'm pulling my power strip so that I can actually do this, because I don't want it to go out just yet. I got a little bit more to talk about. Oh, I pray. I hope and I pray. Okay. Okay, there we go. So the Devil card is also about the things that tempt us. And if this is related to employment, it can be being tempted by greed, by excessive concern for the material. Yes, we could call that greed, but sometimes with Cancer, it's more like security-minded, fear-based about having enough materially and that sort of thing. And in relationships, it can be greed if you're with someone who, provides a great lifestyle for you. If you have a physical connection with that person, even though everything else is terrible, maybe that's the one bright spot of the relationship. And just that feeling of like being drawn to them, even though it's not really good for you or good for them, that you don't bring out the best in each other, but you just feel drawn to them for other reasons. What's coming in is the Four of Swords. So this is a contemplative card. I always say this is kind of like the minor arcana version of either the High Priestess or the Hermit card maybe. And perhaps if this is something that you do, it would be going on retreat, taking some time to clear your head. Maybe if you are married, separating. If you are like leaving a job. You might not look for a job right away. You may even have this sense with the Four of Cups that you have been emotionally drained. And it, in some cases, I think maybe a lot of cases, when we experience that kind of emotional, that stress, or that the Four of Cups is that sense of ennui, which is a word that when I used to do crossword puzzles, that they'd always use that word, and that was the only reason I ever knew that word, is because of the crossword puzzle. But it's like that sense of emotional emptiness, or how can I even put it? Like being in a just in this no man's land emotionally, feeling an emotional flatness with life. And that sometimes a bad relationship, whether it's work related and even coworkers, not just supervisors, but coworkers, and the personal relationships, that can spill over into other areas as well. And then it can, including physically, feeling tired. We know those symptoms of being emotionally drained and how they affect the person physically. So you may be recuperating from all of that stress in one way or the other. And then the outcome is the Page of Wands. And this is like such a positive new beginning, or hearing good news. Pages can be messages, so start spreading the news. I like to have that as my titles sometimes, because I really do think that this is a card of exciting new beginnings. And it's almost to me like an activation, and probably because it's fire energy, if I had to do the timing, I would say something with especially in August, with there's a new moon in Leo on August 18th, and that will be in your second house of earned income, Cancer. So maybe there's some connection with timing there, but it all's well that ends well. So whatever this represents for you, if it's a new relationship that's with a fire sign, the fire signs are Aries, and you tend to like Aries. I was going to say for some reason, but there's some things to love about Aries. Leo and Sagittarius. But just any kind of new relationship that has a passionate kind of a vibe to it. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this, Cancer. If you would like a look at the upcoming year astrologically, I have a natal chart interpretation with important transits that I do, a reading. And that can be really great for people who are having their solar returns. I have other types of readings. I have a special combination of full-length tarot and natal chart readings, yada yada. My website is rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below. Take care. Bye.